Listen up at your boy with the intro to the intro. And you know what that means? That means it's a new month, and that means it's a new bonus episode that's only for the supporters. You know where to go. You know what to do. If you want to support the show, you can go ad-free, get early access, and unlock monthly bonus episodes going back years and years and years. Hundreds of bonus episodes, including a 55-episode deep dive into Twin Peaks. My goodness. You get all that. You can get it for $5. You can get in. Patreon.com/IlluminatiWatcher. Or if you are not a fan of Patreon, some people aren't, you can go to IlluminatiWatcher.com and hit the menu tab up top there and look for VIP. Click that, and you get in there and you can read and compare the three platforms and sign up for my version of Patreon, the VIP section. All you got to do is copy and paste an RSS feed, and you're in. And then the third option is if you're on Apple, you can just mash the button and Apple Premium will unlock all of these things. Early access, ad-free, bonus episodes just like this. It's a super special Conspiracy Classics series that I'm doing. You're going to hear all about it, of course. We're talking about James Shelby Downard's King Kill 33. It's going to be a 3-part deep dive. I don't know if anyone else has done this, so this is going to be very monumental and very important in terms of what's going on in the world today. My man was predicting and talking about things from 50 years ago that are very applicable to today. So listen to the preview. If you want to get in, 3 places to go, and I'll put links in the show notes. And if you want links to anything at all, books, supporter feeds, anything, everything is at allmylinks.com/Isaac W. Isaac spelled ISAAC for double awesome. So, links in the show notes for all this stuff. See you on the other side. If you ever wondered who we have to thank for all these wacky conspiracy theories about psychodrama rituals being conducted for occult purposes, then you've got to hear about James Shelby Downard's conspiracy classic King Kill 33. And here's the good news. I'm about to deep dive you through this special 3-part series of conspiracy classics here on Occult, Symbolism, and Pop Culture. That's right. Some of you already know what I'm talking about when I talk about King Kill 33 and the psychodrama ritual conspiracies about the assassination of JFK. We're talking about the birth of the conspiracy theorist movement. We're talking about the birth of the term conspiracy theory. This is where it all comes together. This is where it started. This is long overdue. And this is a 3-part series. This is a bonus supporters only series of conspiracy classics. A new branding of show for the occult, symbolism, and pop culture world. I like it. Because we're also gonna do 1984. Not today, obviously, but this summer. Conspiracy classics. Where did it all start? Let's go back to the beginning, right? We stand on the shoulders of giants to make conspiracy theories about what's going on in the world today. Well, let's drop that ego. Let's go back to the OGs. What did they say? Because that's who we should be listening to, right? Don't listen to me. I'm just some idiot who read a bunch of these books. Let's talk about what they think. What did they think? So today we're going to start a deep dive 3-part series into one of the most important conspiracy theories of all time. And you've heard about the assassination of JFK. You've heard your uncle at Thanksgiving. He had his own conspiracies about it's the mafia, the CIA, it's whatever. He ain't dropping knowledge of like James Shelby Downard though. Most people don't even know about this stuff. I didn't know about it. My main man, Ryan Page. Ryan, where you at? Hit me up, brother. My main man, Ryan Page, turned me on to James Shelby Downard a few years ago. I said, who? He's like, dude, if you're going to be into this world of occult symbolism, you better know who this guy is. And I said, all right, well, let's take a look. And we're going to be cooking up something. Me and Ryan are going to be cooking up some James Shelby Downard stuff here in the near future if he would ever get back to me. He's Mr. Hollywood, Mr. Busy, I know. Too busy for some jerk off in his podcast studio, but when he's ready, I'm ready. We're going to do it. It could be the thing that blows off everything important about the world of conspiracy theories. Now, in part 1 today, when we start our journey, and again, thank you for my supporters, people that support the show. Love you guys. You're the ones keeping this show alive. Thank you very much. as part of my show of appreciation in return, I give you bonus content every month. And this 3-parter is going to start in June, and it depends on how long it takes me to get parts 2 and 3 recorded. Might spill over into July. So you're kind of getting 3 episodes, 3 bonus shows. My goodness. And how appropriate, right? King Kill 33, 3-part series. How do you love that? So in part 1, which is today's episode, we're going to talk about James Shelby Downard. A brief look at who he was and what this King Kill 33 is all about. What a weird name, right? We're going to start exploring this book that he wrote. It's an essay. We'll talk about that in a second. Secret Governments, the Freemasonic Grand Architect God, Americans Not Having the Truth. He said this back in the 70s. He wrote this in the 70s. I don't know. Let me start there. Long before a lot of the people we all know and love, before my Red Pill Daddies, Bill Cooper, David Icke, Alex Jones. And we're going to start, like I said, we're breaking this essay, this book, into 3 shows because there's 3 sections that I'm going to break it up into. Today we're talking about set 1 through set 3, apropos again with the 3s. But in set 1, we're talking about the Hellfire Club, and this is where it all began. Satanic sexy time in the caves with Ben Franklin. All right. With them Blueface Hunnits. Set 2. He's throwing them Blueface Hunnits on them inner cave thoughts. In set 2, we're just being silly today. Set 2, we're going to talk about sexual geometry, about how mathematics ties into Egyptian history. In set 3, we talk about Shakespeare's Macbeth and Scotland, which connects into Carl Jung, and the crossroads of sex magic, the opposing polarities coming together. We'll talk about some cross-dressing rituals. I've got a fascinating connection into Lil Nas X. It's unbelievable. You got to hear it to believe it. And again, this was all written in the 70s, which is mind-blowing. This guy did not get his flowers while he was alive. I promise you that, but we're going to do it right here on this show. We'll talk about Lyndon Baines Johnson's bloodlines, Macbeth at the White House, the Scottish Black Watch, and wrap it up with the Holy House of Heredom, Symbolism. It's a lot. I got this massive amount of notes. It should be a 4-parter, but I think I can get it done in 3. So, without further ado, who was James Shelby Downard? The original conspiracy theorist. The guy who put the ideas of occult symbolism into the masses. The idea, I wouldn't say into the masses because this is very underground, this whole Downard King Kill 33. But in the underground world of conspiracy occult stuff, he was known, right? But he seems to be the one who floated this idea, I would argue, first, in a way, of connecting all these different dots together. Of a group of the cryptocracy, Freemasonry, and synchromysticism all together. Now, Michael Hoffman was a collaborator with James Shelby Downard, and he deserves respect put on him too. He's still around. I need to get him on my show. He wrote a book. Oh, I can never remember the name of this freaking book. Donut had to tell me. I think it's just called Secret Societies. Oh my gosh. It's a classic. And he was talking about similar ideas because him and Downard were collaborators of some kind. I don't know the inner workings of how close they were. But they were both talking about this idea of synchromysticism tying into the cryptocracy of Freemason Illuminati controllers, right? And in King Kill 33, which is our focus today, he talks about the cryptocracy using symbolism, synchronicity, sex magic, and sacred locations and geometry, Kabbalah, to assassinate JFK. Yeah. Now, James Shelby Downard, as I mentioned, is already passed on. He was born in 1913, died in 1998 at the age of 85. He wrote a partial memoir of the first 20 years of his life called Carnivals of Life and Death. I actually have the book. It's hard to find. My man Ryan sent it to me. I got it over there. I got to read it. I haven't read it yet. I'm not even giving the man the respect he deserves yet. I got to read through it, but I've got several. But the King Kill 33 is where I wanted to start with this, because that's the document. That's the one. So he writes this partial memoir, Carnivals of Life and Death. Then he wrote a bunch of smaller essays, kind of. King Kill 33, Call to Chaos, which is in Apocalypse Culture 2 by Adam Parfrey. And Adam Gorightly, also a guest that we had on our show, we talked to him. He gave us his last interview about Charles Manson, which I'm actually watching a Manson show on Peacock right now. It's pretty good. In fact, it supports the ideas of Tom O'Neill's Chaos, because in part 1, they talk about how Charles Manson, getting out of prison, eating out of dumpsters, yet somehow gets this car with 500 hits of acid. Who gave that to him? And his first exposure to LSD was at a Grateful Dead concert. Where did they get their acid? Then, Adam Gorightly, he's really into Downard. He's an expert. I'll get him on here someday to talk Downard. He wrote a book called James Shelby Downard's Mystical War. Like I said, a lot of people pay homage to this guy, rightfully so. And then there's also interviews called in the 1970s called Sirius Rising, where Jim Brandon, a.k.a. William Grimstad, interviewed Downard. You can find it on YouTube, some of it. It's one of those mysterious recordings that people can't quite track down. So on to King Kill 33. That's the gist of James Shelby Downard, okay? There's a lot more. I actually read part of the Carnivals of Life and Death, and he talks about, he seems very paranoid, like people are chasing him, and talks about this what do they call it, the Great Whore, this woman that he got tangled up with. Oh, it's a whole thing. So when we talk about King Kill 33, I'm going to give you the paraphrase overview right now. We're going to talk about what this whole thing is, because when you get into reading it, it's going to be really confusing, all right? Because this book or essay was apparently never published by an actual publisher, and it's only been circulated on the underground. And I've seen PDFs. You can find them online easily. You can go on eBay, and you'll see paper copies of it for like $60. But it's hard to know, because... Do I have it in my notes here? Because the PDFs that I've found online, the pages are all jumbled up, and you got to sort of decode it and put it back together in the right order, which is what I did. So buyer beware. I'm worried that the people on eBay just found the same PDFs that I did, printed them out, stapled them together, and said, here you go, $60. That's what I'm worried about. That's why I didn't buy one from them. And they actually paraphrase the whole King Kill 33 in Apocalypse Culture by Adam Parfrey in a section, The Call to Chaos, by Downard himself. And The Call to Chaos, also worth your time to read, because he talks about similar things, and there's a lot of overlap with King Kill 33. He's talking about how America is a witch's cauldron with ritualistic crimes and psychopolitical psychodramas performed towards a master plan, a new world order. And these ritual crimes are always about sex and death, paying devotion to their universal God, their grand architect of Freemasonry. And these rituals are a rite of passage to put society and mankind into this new age, the Novus Ordo Seclorum, which, by the way, was on the back of Elon Musk's jacket at the Met Gala just a couple years ago, if you didn't catch that. In the Call to Chaos, he says, he talks funny, the fundamental concept of this universal religion. That sounds like, that voice, because I'm terrible at voices, but I try them for you guys anyway. That sounds like Howard Cosell. Actually, sounds like the guys on... was it Better Off Dead? Those two Asian dudes in the car who learned English by watching Howard Cosell. That's kind of what James Shelby. He sounds like a mix between Downard. Sounds like a mix between Howard Cosell and he looks like Colonel Sanders from Kentucky Fried Chicken. The fundamental concept of this universal religion was the postulate that all forms of existence emanate from the same universal power, and they all consequently seek a mystical reunion with that power. Mystical reunions. And that's what it always comes down to. It always comes down to religion, right? Whatever your religion is, like people, they can't, there's no chill. There's just like, no, we gotta, God who needs me to do all this stuff. It's really weird. It's a really weird situation here for the human race. But he talks about in the Call to Chaos, the Freemasons using the science of symbolism and gematria, Kabbalah, signs, symbols, words, mystical toponymy. That's the geography of witchcraft, etc. And mystical toponymy is a big part of this. It's mentioned in King Kill 33. We'll talk about that when it gets time for that. He's always talking about New Mexico as the land of enchantment because that's where the Jornada del Muerto goes through, the journey of the dead man. He talks about El Camino del Diablo, that's the devil's highway. And his claim is that the Jornada del Muerto goes from, it starts off at a sacrificial altar in Mexico at a Teotihuacan temple site. Is that Mexico? I know it's mentioned on Ancient Aliens. That's the reason why I know how to pronounce Teotihuacan. Who said Ancient Aliens is brain rot, you know? It doesn't matter. It starts somewhere south of America at a sacrificial altar temple site for the bat god. And in Mexican mythology, the bat god is the devil. And these paths of the Jornada del Muerto lead to the killing of the king ritual via El Paso's Kern's Place, which is where a guy named Peter Kern built the Gate of 1,000 Doors, the Gate of Death, and supposedly consecrated it with a blood sacrifice. That's what I was saying. It goes deep. But I'm going to explain all of that as we walk through King Kill 33. You're going to get it in a more slower, digestible form. Now, part of the ritual here, when we talk about the ritual of mankind, is an alchemical process. It's the sacred marriage, the Hieros Gamos. It's the idea that reality is comprised of twin cosmic reality principles, a.k.a. masculine and feminine, opposing polarities. And when these things are divorced, it liberates primordial energy. I'm going to read you from him without his voice. The idea of a universe composed of competing masculine and feminine powers can be explained in electrical terms. As a result of the union between the polar male, positive, protonic, and female, negative, electronic, primordial matter, hydrogen atoms maybe, was produced. The separation of the male and female components of primordial matter can perhaps be thought of as a divorce, and a return of the two to their pre-creational chaos-inhabiting single state. The infinitesimal quantity of primordial matter is called an atom. The formula of the parity between primordial matter and primordial energy is written, maybe that's a typo, can be written in the Einsteinian equation E equals mc squared. Just a new label on an old bottle, seems to me. Well, now, the GAOTU gang, that's the Grand Architect of the universe. He's referring to the Freemasonic cryptocracy, the Illuminati, okay? Well, now, the Illuminati, on that fine summer day in 1945, with the help of their scientific sorcerers' apprentices, fissionated atoms and thus broke up the sacred marriage of the basis of creation, and in doing so, violated their own supreme law of the universe, upsetting the equilibrium apple cart of the cosmos. So when he talks about king killing, it's a reference to alchemy. The King Kill 33 is an alchemical ritual. Because in alchemy, they use the symbol of the serpent crucified on a tau cross. And the serpent represents the cosmic male-female union, right? Also symbolized as the two-headed androgyne, or the what do you call it, the Remus. And another symbol for, he talks about the symbol of the Egyptian Trinity, because that plays into all this, the Osiris, Isis, Horus Trinity. He describes how in the sacred geometry it was represented as the right triangle, where Osiris is the male or the base, Isis is the female or the upright, the perpendicular, and Horus is the product or the hypotenuse, the child, the offspring of the two. Because Pythagoras went to Egypt to find all these secrets out, and he did, and that's when he came back with the Pythagorean theorem. A squared plus B squared equals C squared. He also talks about order and chaos, how everything will eventually return to chaos. And he uses the term, he says, the return will be done via cosmic fire. Returning to chaos. The destruction of primordial matter is what gives back cosmic fire. It unleashes the primordial energy, a.k.a. the cosmic fire. Holy Twin Peaks, Batman. Twin Peaks, the return. He uses that language. The return will be done via cosmic fire. You got all this fire walk with me. You got obviously what happens at the end of season 3 of Twin Peaks. If you haven't seen it yet, check it out. I think it's on Mubi right now. Twin Peaks The Return is showing us a lot of James Shelby Downard ideas. As I already discussed in the Grey Lodge, we're going to go further into it today. I'm going to bring it up a couple times, so hang in there. Don't get your panties in a bunch. If you're like, oh God, not the Twin Peaks. Chill. Just chill. I mean, I'm going to mention it maybe 2 or 3 times. Just a couple times. It's about, because that's what Twin Peaks The Return could be about. It's about returning to chaos via the cosmic fire. We have the Trinity Blast. That's what Downard was saying. That's what you see in Twin Peaks The Return. He also says that it's about making contact with supernatural entities through sex magic, rituals, tantric, and they take women designated to be the goddess or the great whore. And he talks about the king killing ritual being done at Dealey Plaza as a symbolic reenactment of the murder of the Freemasonic founder Hiram Abiff, the guy who built Solomon's Temple, who was killed by 3 assassins. And Downard connects that to the 3 hobos, a.k.a. Woody Harrelson's dad, the 3 tramps, right? So that's the very short version of what we're about to get into, but we're going to go much deeper and explain all of these ideas starting right now. All right. Cut the music. That's the end of the free feed preview. If you want to unlock the 3-part mega deep dive, because I'm going to be releasing parts 2 and 3 in the next couple days, go sign up at one of the 3 supporter feeds. Everyone that says, which one should I do? I would recommend patreon.com/IlluminatiWatcher, because it's got the comment section that I read and get active in, and you unlock a ton of cool features, and you get 2 free books. I forgot to mention that. You get the Dark Path and my Kubrick's Code book, the 3-hour Kubrick's Code documentary I made. You get all kinds of stuff. So yeah, that's the one. And if you don't like to download a new app and create a new password and everything, Apple Premium is the easiest one by far. And then if you are looking to save a few bucks and you know how to copy and paste on RSS feed, you can go to IlluminatiWatcher.com, hit the VIP tab, and sign up for my VIP section, okay? And when you do all that, you're going to unlock the rest of Part 1 and Part 2 and 3, of course, when those appear in the next few days. But in Part 1, we're going to continue, and we're going to dive into the actual book itself, King Kill 33. We're going to talk about all the things that Downard was telling us about way back in the 70s. Secret governments, deep states, Freemasonic gods, and America being steered down the path by the Freemasonic technocracy. We're going to talk about the Hellfire Club, where it all began. Ben Franklin doing the satanic sexy time parties, and then sexual geometry, mathematics, the Egyptians, Macbeth, Shakespeare, and Scotland. Even Carl Jung, he was talking about Carl Jung and the Crossroads, sex magic. I connected into Lil Nas X with some cross-dressing rituals, LBJ's, not that there's a problem with that, LBJ's bloodlines, Shakespeare at the White House. Oh, it goes on and on. The House of Heredom. It's a super deep and complex theory. That's why it's part of the Conspiracy Classics series, the first one. We've got more coming. I'm going to do 1984 soon, and so on. But anyway, if you want to catch the rest of the series, you got to unlock it now. Support the show. You'll get ad-free, early access, hundreds of bonus episodes. I mean, I don't know what you're waiting for. It's time to do it. Do it and do it now, baby. Okay, links in the show notes. Till next time, stay positive. I'm your host, Isaac Weishaupt, and while we're taking a little break from the show, I want to take you down Grifter Alley. The amount of censorship that I've battled over the years is unbelievable. I started blogging and writing books in 2011, and I started podcasting and creating video content in 2014. My channels constantly get shut down. I've had Amazon reject books that I've written, and the saga just keeps going. Instead of folding up the whole project, I've had to rebuild and rebrand multiple times for reasons I have yet to understand. You can check out the full story at illuminatiwatcher.com. Hit the Start Here tab on the menu. So that leads me to you. I need you to support the show because the power controllers apparently have a problem with us. The best way to do that is by becoming a member on one of my supporter feeds, where you'll get ad-free versions of the show, early access, and hundreds of monthly bonus episodes that the free feed losers will never get to hear. The platform I recommend is patreon.com/IlluminatiWatcher, because you'll get all those goods, and I will send you my 2 most popular books for free, The Dark Path and Kubrick's Code, all for less than a cup of coffee a month.
Cup of coffee in the big time.
Another reason I like Patreon is the community comment sections, because there are over 1,000 members, and sometimes the comment sections get real lively. App compatibility with Spotify and Apple and much more. It makes it a no-brainer. I can also provide an option to watch videos ad-free at a tier 2, annual discounts, and a whole lot more. Check it all out at patreon.com/IlluminatiWatcher. Now, the easiest platform is Apple Podcast Premium. If you listen to this show on Apple Podcast, just mash the button, you're in. You unlock all the bonus episodes, the early access, the ad-free experience, all that. The cheaper alternative to Patreon is one that I created. You get the same perks that you get at Patreon, the free books and all that. It's the VIP section. You can check that out at IlluminatiWatcher.com. Click the VIP menu tab up top. You can read the details. You'll have to copy and paste an RSS code into a compatible app of your choice, right? The VIP section, it doesn't work with every single app, but there's a list of the popular ones that it works with, like Apple Podcasts, CastBox, Overcast, Pocket Cast, and much more. Again, check out IlluminatiWatcher.com, hit the VIP menu tab, and you can compare all 3 of these supporter options. Because lots of people think I should be doing this for free, which is very admirable, but it takes an incredible amount of time recording, hosting content, and getting software, equipment. I got to read whole books sometimes, taking notes on everything that I consume. It's literally a full-time job for me to juggle with a day job, a home life, and a family.
Hey, man, I got 5 kids to feed.
And I'm a one-man army, which is great because I actually don't answer to anybody but you, all right? That means you can trust that I'm giving you my take and not some political hack job angle or corporate slave master shilling or any other kind of nefarious purposes. But that requires you to support the show. If you're in the position to, if this is the last $5 of the month that you have, I don't want it. I want you to prioritize your health, your family, your relationships. That needs to be priority number 1. But if you got it, you want to give me a cup of coffee, let's go.